everyone, namaste. Well, tomorrow is December 21st, which means that tomorrow, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, is the winter solstice. And the winter solstice is pretty much nature's new year. It's when the sun is reborn or begins its annual cycle in the sky again through the seasons. In many different historical pagan cultures, the sun god or the deity that represented the sun, or even the sun itself, was said to be reborn on the winter solstice because it's the longest night of the year, and so that's interpreted as the universe or the goddess being in labor with the sun, and then at the dawn of the next morning, the sun is reborn and there's a new little baby, brand new sun in the sky. And so in modern paganism, the winter solstice is still observed. Some people call it winter solstice, some people call it Yule, but whatever you call it, it's the same festival. It's honoring the returning of the light to the darkness, the return of hope and peace, a time to begin the new year and to look ahead with hope and peace to fresh beginnings and all those sorts of things that are typically done on the New Year's that is celebrated with on January 1st, except it's done a couple weeks early with the solstice. And a lot of traditions that were done with solstice, such as feasting, getting together with family and friends, exchanging gifts, were done at this time historically. And then when Christianity came to new lands that it hadn't been in before, the Catholic Church adopted those traditions and Christianized them into what's now known as Christmas. Obviously, Jesus was not born on December 25th, and there's various reasons that are given with that, some even in the Bible itself. For instance, in the Nativity story, it's said that shepherds were watching their flocks by night on the night Jesus was born, and shepherds wouldn't be watching their flocks by night in the middle of winter, when first of all it's really, really cold outside, and secondly, when during the winter most families slaughtered most of their sheep and cattle to be eaten, and that's why there were big feasts, because it was the one time a year when meat was actually plentiful, because they only kept alive certain livestock for breeding, and then the rest they slaughtered and ate them because they wouldn't have enough food to feed them. And also, historical researchers estimate that Jesus was born probably sometime in spring. And so yeah, Jesus wasn't born on December 25th, but many pagan deities who represented the sun were said to be born on December 25th or around the winter solstice, which ranges from December 20th to the 25th, depending on the year. And so deities from Dionysus to Mithras to, honestly, those are the only two I can remember off the top of my head, but different sun deities were said to be born around the winter solstice, and so naturally it would make sense for the sun god, S-U-N, for people to switch from celebrating that to celebrating the Son of God, S-O-N. And whatever you believe, whether you celebrate Yule or winter solstice or Christmas, it's about celebrating that returning of the light, returning of hope, the idea that light is always there and that we need shadow at times to see what we're striving against and to see this is not what we're aiming for. What we aim for is light, hope in tough times, hope in the bleakest of times. And those bleak times can show us this is who we really are. This is who we stand for as individuals, as families, as friends, as humanity. I think now with all the political turmoil that's going on in the world, and especially here in the United States, that message is clearer now more than ever. No matter what political side you're on, the fact of the matter is right now we don't really know what's going to happen with positions of power changing. It's tough and difficult and uncertain times for everyone, and so I think especially with this Yule and solstice, it's important to remember to look at each other as friends, as neighbors, as fellow human beings, and to not see each other with the cultural and social labels that can bring togetherness and also divide depending on how you look at things. So especially for this winter solstice, and especially with all the rough things that have been going through this year, not just with politics, but in terms of global social things, considering how many artists we've lost this year, how many shining lights we've lost this year, how people on all sides of the political spectrum are in times of darkness and hopelessness and just wondering what's going to happen now. I hope that we all can look at each other as human beings and remember that we're all pieces of the light of God, Goddess, the divine, the universe, whatever term you prefer to use, or just the light of hope if you don't have any particular spiritual leaning. And so I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season and celebrate however brings joy and peace and laughter and happiness to you and your families. I'm gonna go make some delicious nutmeg logs. They are a wonderful holiday cookie I grew up with. They're my mother's favorite Christmas cookie, and because they're shaped like little logs, I see them as tiny little Yule log cookies, and so I will be making those, and that's how I'm going to get my winter solstice celebration started. Hi guys! Okay, so I just finished putting in the third and final batch of nutmeg logs in the oven, and my sister's in the living room, and we've got Frank Sinatra's Christmas album going because you can't beat Frank Sinatra, he's awesome. But I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you these beautiful, check these out, how gorgeous and delicious do these look. And they'll look even better with the frosting on it. My family, we make a homemade frosting with butter and powdered sugar and rum flavoring, and then we sprinkle nutmeg on top. But I'll have to frost the cookies tomorrow because I need to go get more rum flavoring because we also use that in the dough, and I had just enough rum flavoring for the dough tonight. But anyway, those are the beautiful nutmeg logs that are good for Christmas cookies or Yule log cookies. I will leave the recipe in the description below, and feel free to try them and let me know what you think. Merry Yule, Merry Solstice, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and just have a wonderful winter season, and blessed be. Bye!